Hi, my name's Phil Gardner and welcome to Fun with Boxes. And today I'm taking a look back at our wonderful trip to Essen this year. Das Essen Spiel 2024. And my goodness, what a fantastic time it was. I'm a little bit late in getting this video out because we didn't get back from Essen until last week because we went on rather a long journey on our way back. We popped to see our friends in North Wales in Port Maddox, and then we popped on briefly for 1 or 2 days, and then all of a sudden we were in Aircon West in Telford. But we are back home, and now I'm going to take a look at our Essen trip. Well, of course, like any of our trips, it all starts with some liquid refreshments, which helps steady my nerves for the journey ahead. And talking of journeys, of course, we couldn't just simply go to Essen. No, indeed, it was a case of buses, trains and aeroplanes to get us to Essen. But first we had to get to Birmingham, which normally is not too much of a trek for us, but of course our local transport system decided not to run trains, so hence the buses part of our journey. So a journey which should have taken about 35 minutes took just under 2 hours, and that was just to get to Cardiff, let alone get to Birmingham and then get from Birmingham to Dusseldorf. Oh, and of course I forgot a monorail journey as well. As you can see, Lisa is very excited by travelling on the monorail in Birmingham. So armed with my penguin and my therapy buddy, and of course a small bottle of red wine, up into the sky we went, and then the internal screaming began until finally we landed safely. And rather amazingly, when we arrived at Dusseldorf, we were just coming through arrivals and we bumped into somebody who has been commenting on a number of the videos on the channel. What an absolute delight that was. And here's a picture of Alex. Alex, it was amazing to meet you, the very first people we met when we got off the plane. But we didn't just bump into Alex, we also bumped into this rather fine, wonderful gentleman called Travis. And you may well know Travis from the wonderful YouTube channel Above Board. And it was really great to meet Travis and spend a few minutes having a chat. Only when you go to Essen can this type of thing happen, I think. So we made our way safely to where we were staying in Dusseldorf and had a few nightcaps so that we were ready for the day to come. And what a day that was. I was expecting Essen to be quite full this year. What I wasn't expecting was for Thursday to be jam-packed. In fact, normally it's your Thursday, Friday ramps up, Saturday is your very, very busy day, and Sunday normally drops off a little bit. That's what I've found when I go to board game conventions. But oh no, unfortunately, it was some form of bank holiday in Germany, some sort of national holiday on Thursday. So Thursday, the convention was rammed. And when I say rammed, the convention was actually sold out on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and was even sold out on Sunday as well. So you can imagine the number of people that were wandering around the halls in Essen Spiel. My goodness, it was full. And on our way from Dusseldorf, as we were making our way to the train station to head off into Essen, we of course stumbled upon our new local game shop. And here it is. And of course, we did have to pay it a visit during the trip because that's what you need to do. Don't forget, support your local friendly game stores, wherever they may be. So a short train journey and then an even shorter tube journey, and we were there. Now, the conventions may be rather full and perhaps rather stressful if you're a little bit like me, But I tell you what, it is so much worth that anxiety and stress because of the wonderful people you meet. And to me, this is one of the reasons, the main reason perhaps, that we go to the board game conventions, because of the wonderful people that you meet and the friends you make along the way. It really is fantastic. And here are some of the people we met this year. It was so wonderful meeting all these people. Some people we'd never met before, some people that we've met quite a few times, and some people that we are lucky enough to call our friends. And like I say, that's what all board game conventions are about in my book. It's the meeting with people, talking, socializing, and of course playing wonderful board games as well. Of course, at a convention, you not only need liquid refreshments, but occasionally you do need to have some food. And there was plenty of food there indeed. And also, if you popped out of the convention centre, of course, you were in Essen. And around the corner from the convention centre is the rather lovely pub Fitzpatricks, where we often spend quite a lot of time just to calm ourselves down and of course take on the liquid refreshments that keeps us going. And when at Essen, of course, you have to have your picture taken with Meeps. And Meeps is rather fantastic, as you can see. Good old Meeps. But of course, it's not all fun and laughter, is it really? No, not when your credit card company keeps thinking that your credit card has been stolen and taken to Germany and used to buy lots and lots and lots of board games. It seems that if you buy quite a lot of board games on your first sort of day, your credit card company gets a little bit twitchy and then decides to block your credit card. So here's a picture of me making a phone call to the credit card company to explain that everything is okay. It is me and I'm just buying some board games at a board game convention. But they could not just take my word for it. No, they had to go through every purchase. And I think by the point that they had blocked the card, we probably had bought around 18 games, perhaps a bit more, I'm not sure. We did get a little bit carried away. So I had to listen as they reeled off all these names of board game stores or shops or designers or publishers. They wouldn't let me stop them by saying, yes, it's okay, they're all board games. Yes, that's a board game. Yes, we did buy that one. Yes, we bought that one. That would have been okay if it hadn't been for the fact that every day we bought some board games and every day they blocked our card. It was so much fun speaking to my credit card company every day. I feel as if this year I should send them a Christmas card. I've gotten to know them rather well. So anyway, Thursday evening, we were rather fortunate to be invited by our lovely friend Ben Maddox to an equally lovely meal with some rather fantastic and rather wonderful people. We met Doug, who is the designer of Tammany Hall, and Peony, who is the designer of Sea Dragons, and we met Marcello and Steve, and also a lovely gentleman called Martin Wallace. And what a wonderful meal it truly was, and what wonderful company. And of course, what wonderfully large liquid refreshments. Oh, tremendous. I could not believe just how many drinks the waitress was actually carrying. Bravo, I say bravo. And then from Thursday, the convention was a bit of a blur, as it tends to be. There's just so much going on. There's just so much to see. And you, frankly, are exhausted by the end of each day. But oh my goodness, so many board games, so many board games to see, so many board games that you could try some demos of if you were willing to queue up for a long time to be able to play them. One thing I will say is that some of the halls were beyond full. I mean, you are just stuck behind people and you're just shuffling along trying to get past, and there's just waves of people coming at you as you're trying to get through the throng. And of course you've got those people who love to wear rather large rucksacks and love to turn around looking at things, and small children are flying across the room there as they get whacked by a rucksack, or you indeed get whacked by a rucksack. And then you have the wonderful people who decide to stop right in front of you for, well, I would say for no apparent reason, but of course there's all these wonderful board games around, so it's no wonder that people suddenly stop to look at things. But of course, as you're trying to get from hall 5 to hall 2, this can be a rather stressful situation to be in. So if ever you are planning on meeting somebody at a certain time, you really do have to leave quite early to be able to make sure you get through the throngs to actually get to where you're going and be there at the time you said. Very full, very overwhelming it can be, or it certainly was for me. But like I said earlier, all well worth it. And it was especially well worth it when I went to see a game which had caught my eye, and that was the small card game Dirt and Glory. And when I went to have a look at it and see what it was all about and then pick up a copy, I was told that the game designer was there and that he would sign our game for us. So rather timidly I said, no, it's okay, thank you, and tried to back away. But no, the guy was insistent that we meet Peter, the designer, and I'm so glad I did, because it was wonderful to meet him and have a chat with him, and also then for him to sign my game, which was absolutely amazing. I'm really so chuffed to have that done for me. Very kind of you, Peter. Thank you very much. We also met some wonderful people and took a look at their game called Proper, and they gave us some rather wonderful mistletoe vodka type shot thing. Oh my goodness, that was strong. Very strong indeed, but also very nice. And we also had quite a few glasses of beer at the Game Brewer stall, which was rather a bit of a mixed feelings going on there. It was lovely to have a drink, but very sadly it was their leaving party, as it were, because unfortunately Game Brewer have closed down and are no longer operating. So it was lovely to have a drink and toast their successes and also wish them good luck for the future. A standout highlight moment for me was when we went to have a look at Looping Games, because we've backed a few on a recent Kickstarter and also picked up one of their games when we were in the Netherlands. So we popped along to see if there was any other of the games that we didn't have. And when we were there, we bumped into Ferran, a rather wonderful gentleman who all of a sudden I realised was the board game designer for one of my favourite, if not my most favourite two-player board game, the Battle of Versailles. Oh my goodness, I could not believe who I was talking to. And Farron, what a wonderful, wonderful man. So enthusiastic, so great to chat to. He's also the designer of Lacrimosa and also, I believe, 1902 and 1998, one of the 19 Looping games. It was a true pleasure and a joy to speak with Farron, I must admit. Bit of a fanboy moment for me. And as always, I have to stop and spend some time chatting with the wonderful people from Salt and Pepper Games. My goodness, that is turning out to be another one of my highlights of board game conventions. Stopping and chatting with them. They are wonderful, and they are not only just wonderful people, but they also produce wonderful, fantastic games. So I had to pick up a copy of The Hunt because I'd not already had that one. But yeah, Salt and Pepper Games, they are getting to be right up there as one of my favourite board game publishers. We also spoke to Morton from Neo Wolf Games, and he showed us a copy of his great game Viking Raiders. And not only did he tell us all about the game, but he also gave us a game so that we can show you on the channel. So that's Viking Raiders. Keep an eye out for a video on this coming soon to the channel. How to play and unboxing, the usual fun with boxes shenanigans. Later on one of the afternoons there was a meet and play event that was held by a load of board game content creators from podcasts and YouTube, and of course This Game Is Broken was there. It was great to see some people who have been following This Game Is Broken podcast, seeing them playing there with Matthew and Paula and Dave, and they were all having a great deal of fun indeed. We got there a little bit too late to have joined in the game they were playing, but everyone was having a whale of a time. And it was nice to walk around the hall and see all the different content creators there and all the different people who'd come along to see them and have a chat and play games. Something I hope that they do again next year. Well, our friend Ben Maddox had invited us for that rather wonderful meal on Thursday night, but his invites didn't just stop there. Oh no, he invited us to beer in the car park. Yes, beer in the car park. It's a proper event, as it were. A small event, perhaps, but a real good event. And we met some tremendous people there again. Just sat there in the car park having a beer with this rather wonderful man, Mark. You may well know Mark from all the wonderful board game conventions in the UK. Aircon in Harrogate, the main Aircon, Aircon Northwest in Manchester, and Aircon West in Telford. Having a beer in the car park was the rather wonderful Johnny Pack and his rather wonderful boots as well. What tremendous boots, I must admit. And we also met the wonderful Jeffrey D. Allers there, and Martin Wallace popped by as well, but I think he had some other engagements to attend to and perhaps did not have time to have a beer with us in the car park, which is a bit of a shame. But we met a number of people there and we had some great fun indeed. And in the car park there's not just the car park beer meeting, of course there's all the food trucks there where you can get a ton of different food and of course get some drinks as well. And not only that, but you can see some strange shenanigans that often happen in the car park. It's not just inside the convention, you know, that crazy things happen. It can be outside as well. And this was Penguins and Harmonies. All of a sudden, this sort of happened, which was all rather surreal and quite strange.
Hey! Come back! Up!
But of course, I could not resist having a picture taken with the penguin. We did have a wonderful time at Snowvid Games, where we spoke to the designer Verdun and picked up the 18th anniversary edition of Galibari, one of his games there. And we had some tremendous fun with the people on the stall, and indeed they supplied us with rather a lot of shots as well. Oh, tremendous stuff, and very, very, very strong as well. What was the name of it? Grubber or something? Grappa? Grappa, I believe it's called, a Croatian very strong alcoholic drink. Marco was the gentleman who was supplying us with the shots. What a smashing chap. Marco, it was a delight to meet you. It really genuinely was. And if it was not for Marco, then I wouldn't have conducted my first ever interview, because Marco said, go and speak with Verdun, you can interview him. And I don't think Marco had realised that I had never ever done this before, so it was completely unexpected. I was rather nervous, and anyway, this is a little excerpt of what actually happened. Completely unprofessional, but there you go.
Hi!
And welcome to Fun with Boxes, and welcome to Vedra.
Thank you.
Yes, please look at this game.
So we are a small publisher from Croatia, started this year for pleasure of enjoying the games. Our mission is to make games that will be fun for the people.
Fun in a box.
Fun in a box. Very important.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. It was a super delight to meet Vedran and his team of people there. Really, really great. And whilst we were taking some much needed liquid refreshments in Fitzpatricks, the wonderful Irish bar, which is right by the convention centre, we bumped into the rather lovely Eric and Christina from Filler Gaming and had a lovely little chat with them. It was very nice to meet them. It was a shame Filler Gaming did not have a stand this year at Essen, but hopefully next year, so good luck for you at next year's Essen. So, like all good things, Essen was coming to an end. So we left the convention centre, hopped on the tube to travel back to where we were staying in Dusseldorf. And who did we bump into on the tube? Well, none other but Michael and Brittany from Gameling Games. Wow, that was most unexpected. What a delightful bunch of people Gameling Games are. Of course, this was another mini fanboy moment for me, and also a mini fangirl moment for Lisa, because we do love gambling games. So back into Dusseldorf we went, and of course back to the land of Donna Kebabs. If ever you go to Germany, you have to get some Donna Kebabs. You may think you know kebabs if you live in the UK, but let me tell you, you do not know kebabs. Not until you've had a Donna Kebab in Germany. My goodness, and we had a few, I must admit. But there we have it. Like I say, all good things had to come to an end. We stayed in Dusseldorf for a couple of days and popped to Cologne as well, because we'd heard it was so beautiful there. And oh my goodness, it reminded us of Wales, because it was absolutely lashing down. So we didn't really get to see much. We popped into the big, huge cathedral, and that was rather impressive. That is right by the train station, and managed to wander around very briefly because I didn't have a coat or an umbrella or anything, just my t-shirt, so I was like a drowned rat. So we popped into a little Irish bar there, and of course had liquid refreshments as you do, and dried off a bit. But I'm sure Cologne would look quite fantastic in the sunshine. But never mind, it was nice to go there. Back then to Dusseldorf, and then the following day back onto the plane and back home. Well, not quite home. Off we went to Porthmadog then in North Wales, and then eventually came home, but not for long, because then we went to Aircon West in Telford. But now we are back home, and now recovering from all the fun and excitement. So there you go, Essen Spiel 2024. My goodness, it was full. It was so full, so crowded and so full. But so wonderful. So very wonderful. If you've never been to Essen, I would highly recommend you going. It is something to see, something to experience. Yes, it's crowded, but you do get used to it after a little while, and there are a couple of tricks to attending Essen, which I shall keep to myself for now, where you can get around a little bit more quickly than you may imagine possible. Perhaps for a future video, who knows? This is our 3rd year of going, and we were planning on having a year off and then going again the following year. But to be honest, we had such a brilliant time that I can see us going again next year. Well, anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed listening to me rambling on about our trip to Essen this year. If you did, please click the old like button and also hit that subscribe button too. That would be truly tremendous and wonderful of you to do so. And as always, in the meantime, please do take care, and bye for now.